Shit, apparently Tom Ford hated that damn House of Gucci movie. He said it made him deeply sad, child. They just so damn shady in the fashion industry that Yves Saint Laurent didn't even hide his displeasure with whatever Tom Ford was doing or his designs. He done told the press the poor man does what he can. Like this shade is crazy. Hello. If you're new here, then thanks for stopping by. I'm Adriana, and this is only like my fifth YouTube episode, but so far, I'm liking it. I'm feeling the vibes. And if you're back and you've watched all of my other videos, then thanks so much for returning. Make sure you subscribe, make sure that you like, and yeah, let's just jump in with today's episode. If you're a fan of fashion and you keep up with the industry like I do, then you're not blind to the fact that they pretty much bounce the same creative directors around from house to house. It's very rare that they bring in a new fresh face to bring in a new outlook onto the industry. I thought it'd be interesting if I kind of pinpointed where some of our favorite creative directors and designers got their start in the industry before they went on to build their own successful fashion houses. So let's jump in. Let's jump right into Alexander Wang for Balenciaga. And that's really only because he wasn't even there for that long. Like, he was only at Balenciaga for about 6 seasons. He didn't really do much there. No shade. No shade. But he definitely wasn't there as long as Nicolas Jesquier, who was with the brand for over 15 years before he went on to be a creative director for Louis Vuitton. Alexander showed his first collection for Balenciaga in fall 2013. And like I said, the people didn't hate it, but they didn't necessarily love it either. They didn't really do anything new or bring anything fresh to the industry. He kind of stayed on Cristobal's original thought process or creative direction for the line, which was a lot of cocoon coats, a lot of petal skirts, some peplums. I mean, nothing really groundbreaking. Now he did do a decent job getting his pieces on celebrities. He got Taraji to wear it. I believe they went to the Met Gala in one of his pieces for Balenciaga. Naomi Watts, Emma Watson had it on. He got Kate Moss to come out of the house for a little campaign for him. So, like I said, it didn't do poorly, but it wasn't just like it was a blimp on the radar. You probably don't even remember Alexander Wang for Balenciaga because he only did one bag. It wasn't as popular as the moto bag, but it was like it had marble on it. I'll pop a picture in because I can picture it in my head. And like I said, it wasn't that exciting. You can really find it on the Real Real or Fashion File for about $400 to $500, honestly. The celebrities that he got to wear the pieces, I mean, it wasn't giving like Kanye and Demna vibes. He did get Kim K to wear some things, but it was cool. It was cool. Okay, pause. Because earlier this week, Balenciaga just announced that Kim Kardashian is the new brand ambassador for them, which I thought that was already a thing. I guess they made it official this week, and child, oh, that's exactly how I feel about it, child. Another non-groundbreaking thing from the House of Balenciaga. And I don't understand why everybody's getting these brand ambassador deals except for Tracy Ellis Ross. Somebody make her a brand ambassador. Give it to her, you cowards. There really isn't a lot of information on why Balenciaga didn't renew Alexander Wang's contract. Now, word on the street is somebody dropped the bag for him to develop his own line. So he showed his last show for Balenciaga in October 2015. And like I said, he was only there for 6 seasons. So it was something. It was a job. That's a good thing to have on your resume, though. A creative director for Balenciaga at the beginning of your career, he wasn't really huge yet. He didn't really become. He wasn't really the Alexander Wang that we think of now. So that's cool. On the other hand, Marc Jacobs created a splash everywhere he went. In '87, he was the youngest designer to ever win the CFDA award for new fashion talent. And then 2 years later, he started working for Perry Ellis. He apparently really liked working for Perry Ellis. He even got Tom Ford to come on and work with him. And don't worry, we'll get to what Tom Ford did for the world. So everything was going fine for Mark and Perry Ellis. Him and Tom were vibing, they were clicking. until about 92 ish. That's when he debuted his grunge line. And if you know anything about the Marc Jacobs and Perry Ellis debacle of 92, he decided to send some pieces down the runway that were inspired by Kurt Cobain and just the Nirvana and grunge look, a lot of plaids, a lot of silk dresses with plaid jackets, a lot of Doc Martens. And the critics loved it. Like the fashion world loved it, but it did not sell. Nobody wanted those pieces, which I don't know why. Because that spring summer 93 collection didn't sell well, he got fired. And we've all been there. We all been there, Mark. We done been fired. Luckily, he'd already established his own brand by then anyway, so it really didn't matter. And that year, he still got the award for Women's Designer of the Year by the CFDA. So, silver linings. But that collection was so iconic in like after the fact that he ended up bringing it back in 2018. He re-released 26 of the original designs, and it was a collaboration between a couple of different brands across like different categories in the industry. And he did a collaboration with Doc Marten that I have. They're basically just the regular black Doc Marten boots, but they have Marc Jacobs on the laces, and then they came in this box with this cool plaid shoe bag that I actually never took out of the box. I wear those shoes so much. I've definitely got my cost per wear out of those boots, and I had to have them because I knew how iconic that collection was. In 97, though, Mark really did his big one when he went on to be the creative director for Louis Vuitton. And he also was at the helm of creating their first ready to wear line. That collection and Mark's tenure at Louis Vuitton gave birth to some of the most iconic fashion moments ever, besides the ones that I'm going to talk about next, because those are really iconic to me personally. But he's responsible for all of the it girl moments. He did the collaborations with Steven Sprouse, with Takashi Murakami, with Richard Prince. All of the bags that are now kind of being recirculated and that are still hot on the resale market, Marc Jacobs did that. So say thank you to Marc Jacobs. Oh, he also did that nurse runway. It's just the runway, the bags. It was just so much. So good, so good, so good. He is responsible for the bags with the cherries all over them. He's responsible for the multicolor Louis Vuitton monogram. He's responsible for the bags that have kind of the Louis Vuitton in like spray paint writing that's still hot. And what's funny is Louis Vuitton told him the only thing that you can't do is kind of like fuck with the logo. And that's the first thing he did was fuck with the logo. But so many good times, so many good pieces. Surprisingly, I don't have any pieces from the Louis Vuitton by Marc Jacobs collection or throughout his tenure. I do want some pieces, but they're at such a premium right now that I just cannot justify buying them when I'm still renting my apartment. Like it just doesn't make sense. The bags are more expensive than they were when they came out in store, and those are the resale market, the pre-loved market. So yeah, no, they're on the wish list. I'll probably do it all at once. I'll probably get like a Richard Prince Speedy. Maybe I'll clip a Murakami like chain or something on the outside, and then I'll do like a Steven Sprouse wallet inside, and I'll carry them all at once because gaudy, gaudy. That's my vibes. More is more. More is more. Let's pile it all on. In October 2013, he announced that he was departing from the line after he'd been there for about 16 years. And he made the announcement right after he showed the spring summer 2014 collection. But like I said, it's Marc Jacobs. You know who Marc Jacobs is. Everybody has the totes. I even have a tote. And I think it's kind of controversially a brave statement. I think it's kind of oversaturated in the market right now, but it's still a moment. It's still something that I feel like you have to have a Marc Jacobs tote bag. Now they have the duffel, they have the sack bag, and they're cool. Oh, and he did that collection, that collaboration with Fendi last year too. So cool pieces still. He's still relevant, of course. We've made it to the finale, the grand finale. Tom Ford for Gucci. If you know me and we've talked about fashion before, then you know Tom Ford for Gucci is chef's kiss. It's like the pinnacle of fashion for me. What he did for Gucci, the looks that he created, the moments that he created for Gucci, the ads, especially for Gucci, are timeless. I do own some Tom Ford for Gucci pieces. I own a pair of boots that originally walked the runway in '97, and I'll pop a picture up because a moment, just a moment. Look at them. Okay, let's be serious now. Tom was brought in as the design director for Gucci in '94 because they were doing bad. They was pretty damn bad, not gonna lie. They were about to go bankrupt. Nobody really cared about Gucci anymore. Nobody was checking for Gucci. They were giving very much business cash, a lot of corporate realness going down the runway. So they thought they could bring him in for a fresh, like sexy look. And that's exactly what he did for the brand. And it's important to emphasize the fact that he was brought in as a design director and not only the creative director. So those are kind of two different things. When Tom came in, he really did zhuzh it up for the brand. He really brought sexy back. And he definitely stuck with their basic silhouette, but he made it more sensual. So instead of regular pantsuits, he did a lot of velvet pantsuits. Instead of regular like button ups that they would initially do, he did a lot of satin button ups that kind of unbuttoned at the navel. He did a lot of skirts and dresses with high slits. The ads were super sexy, and we can kind of get on that later because the ads, Tom Ford for Gucci ads, changed my childhood. Okay. Tom also accidentally helped usher in that whole heroin chic phase of fashion. The fashion industry is a very wild place. Like, we can't blame that all on him, but he accidentally helped it. Tom made Gucci so profitable that they began to expand as a fashion house and they became Gucci Group. Gucci Group went on to acquire Yves Saint Laurent, Balenciaga, Alexander McQueen, and even Stella McCartney. Bernard Arnault, the LVMH CEO, saw what Tom was doing with Gucci and came in like an evil genius and started to slowly try to acquire more stock in the brand or the fashion house so that he could basically own it pretty much. I think he ended up acquiring about 34% of the brand's stock. And it was kind of like a hostile takeover situation. Child, it started getting all messy, and Yves Saint Laurent got involved, and he only got involved, or the brand only got involved, because when Gucci Group acquired Yves Saint Laurent, then Tom became the creative director for YSL as well. Sidebar, more sidebars here, because I don't. The fashion industry's gossip is like TMZ for me. I don't know, like it's just so interesting to me because it's so goddamn messy. But Tom pulled Yves Saint Laurent back into the limelight as well, so he kind of gave them the Tom Ford or the Gucci touch, and he made them more profitable too. Anyway, I can go on and on about Tom Ford for Gucci or Tom Ford while he was at the helm of the Gucci group because, like I keep saying, it was so juicy. There was so much tea to be spilled that it could just go on for hours. But he eventually left Gucci in 2004 and allegedly, child, he left because of creative differences. A lot of the stakeholders and people didn't like how sexy the ads were. They were pulled from a couple of different countries and it just became a lot. And also, he's Tom Ford, so he went on to be Tom Ford at Tom Ford Fashion House. So it worked out for him too. So I only decided to do 3 on this episode because it's going to be an ongoing series. There are so many different designers who went on to have their own success and have their own namesake brands. Stella McCartney used to be at Chloe for a while. Obviously, Karl Lagerfeld was at Chloe and Fendi before he was at Chanel. There are a couple of different designers that got their start somewhere else. So, gonna keep this going. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's talk about you not subscribing though. Like, it's becoming a thing. I have a goal to get at least, at the very least, and I don't want to put a minimum on it or a maximum on it because I'm not that kind of girl. So at the least, I want to get 100 subscribers by the summer. I know that's doable. So share, like, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at 226mayhem. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by again. See you next time.